cold email is still the best way to book meetings and sign clients in 2024. I know this because in just 116 days, we helped one of our clients use his or incentives generate over $4.2 million in sales pipeline just by using cold email. But even though cold email is crushing for my clients, I talk to business owners and growth leaders at B2B companies every single day who struggle to make their cold email campaigns work. And when I take a look under the hood of their cold email strategies, I see the same mistakes over and over again. That's why in this video, I'm going to give you the 6 worst cold email mistakes that 99% of B2B businesses make, and most importantly, how to fix them so you can finally start booking meetings and signing clients with cold email. So let's get into it. Alright, so first of all, why should you listen to me? So just a few case studies and few client results. Here is my recognition from inconsistent SDR performance. Got to 8 to 10 qualified demos booked every single month. USA incentives or $4 million in sales pipeline generated in less than 4 months. And relaunch marketing, steamer from relaunch marketing, 7K to 24K added in monthly recurring revenue every single month. Basically, the first mistake is deliverability. So by deliverability, I mean whether emails are landing in the primary inbox of your prospects or in the spam folder, right? So obviously, if they're in the spam folder, they're not going to be read. And so the problem is if your deliverability is bad, your emails are in the spam folder, your prospects are not even going to read those emails. So the biggest challenge is determining whether you have this deliverability issue. So to determine whether you have the deliverability problem, you're going to look at your campaign's reply rate, and more specifically, your individual mailboxes reply rate, right? So your campaign's reply rate should never be below 1%. If it's below 1%, that means that you have a deliverability issue, right? If it's still low, but it's above 1%, it might just be something else. It might just be your offer is not on point. It might just be your messaging is just too long, or it might just be that, you don't have product market fit. But if you're getting less than 10 responses out of 1,000 people that you contact, then you're likely landing in spam. So you likely have a deliverability issue, right? So how do you fix a deliverability issue? So you do this by running a few spam tests, for example, the MailReach spam checker or spam test. And so if you find yourself in a position where you have a deliverability issue, you want to leave the inboxes in warm-up phase. So you leave it in warm-up, don't send cold emails from those boxes, just leave them on warm-up, for example, on a platform like Smartly.ai or Instantly.ai. Those platforms are for sending cold emails. They also allow you to warm up your inboxes and keep them there for 2 to 3 weeks for them to improve their health and deliverability. So how do you ensure you never run into the deliverability issue again? I would recommend to watch this video on the sending infrastructure you need to set up to basically have high deliverability while still sending a high volume of cold emails and still being able to land in a primary inbox. But briefly, what you want to do is you want to set up some MX records that are the DMARC, DKIM, and SPF records. You also want to warm up your mailboxes for at least 10 to 14 days. That you gradually want to gradually increase your sending volume, and you actually want to keep it not higher than this is actually updated, because right now I don't recommend to do more than 20 to 25 cold emails per day per mailbox. That being said, copy is also plays also a big role when it comes to keeping deliverability high, because before launching your cold email campaign, you want to run your copy, you want to run your scripts through a deliverability checker, right? Actually, spam word checker. And this is why I recommend the Mail Meteor spam checker. So essentially what you want to do is you just want to check for those keywords that are basically just marked as spam, or trigger your spam filters or your inboxes, your prospects inboxes spam filters, and make your email land in spam. And also something that nobody actually says, but it's very important in my opinion, is relevance in your outreach approach, relevance in your angles. Because think about this, if a prospect receives a cold email that is completely irrelevant to them, it talks about maybe a different company, maybe offer that doesn't make any sense to them, they're more likely to mark your email as spam instead of, for example, compared to a prospect who receives a relevant cold email. Maybe they're not interested, but the cold email is still relevant. Then these people are probably not going to mark your email as spam. Relevance plays a big role in my opinion. So the reason why I included relevance here in this list is because the more prospects, the more people mark your emails as spam, the more likely your future cold emails sent by the same sender accounts are going to be likely to land in spam. And it all comes down to the spam complaint rate. You always want to keep the spam complaint rate as low as possible. Mistake number 2 is not having product market fit. So assuming you have good deliverability and your emails are actually reaching your prospect's primary inbox, if you're still struggling to get replies, if you're not booking meetings, you're not getting interested leads, it could be due to your product market fit. You determine this if you have a reply rate of above 1%, so you can exclude the deliverability issue, because as I said, if you're getting a reply rate that's lower than 1%, you're probably experiencing bad deliverability. So if you're getting higher reply rate than 1%, but the positive reply rate is low, you probably have an offer or product market fit problem, right? And this, you getting above 1% reply rate and not positive replies, indicates that while people are responding to your emails, the types of responses typically you receive are these, no thanks, not interested, unsubscribe, something like this, right? Something similar. This is a campaign, this is an example of a campaign where the reply rate is 2%, so it's above 1%, so that rules out deliverability issues, but you've got no positive replies. So this typically means that your offer is not good, or you have a product market fit problem. So you might be selling an offer or a product that your audience simply doesn't need. For example, let's say you're selling heavy winter coats in a tropical climate country. You probably have a product market fit problem because nobody here actually needs a coat. And despite your best marketing efforts, it just doesn't work because people just don't need your offer, don't need your product. And so to fix this, you would need to offer something more suitable. So how do you fix a product market fit problem and avoid this mistake? The best thing to do is market research. So you want to make sure that you know what your market wants, what your market needs. Your existing clients are a great source to get market feedback. Basically, you want to ask your clients why they chose to buy from you. Or as another very common mistake, which is mistake number 3, is list building. So even if you have a high deliverability, you're reaching out to the right prospects, you're offering something that they need and they want, you're solving their problems. This list building mistake will literally destroy your cold email campaigns, because the list building is a very simple process. It's just about building a list of relevant prospects that you're going to reach out to in your cold email campaign. But at the same time, it's very easy to get this wrong, and it's very time to make a list building mistake, right? So I'll give you an example. Let's say you're mentioning in your company, in your cold email campaign, you're mentioning the company name of your prospects. So you're saying, for example, we can help company name, while company name is a custom field and is the name of the company of the prospect. If you don't clean the company name column in your lead list, many of these company names will appear something like, company, LLC, or company limited, something like that, like LTD as well, or NCO. Like, you want to clean those words, because if you mention those words in a cold email, like, your prospects will easily understand that this is an automated email, right? And they will probably mark it as spam. So this is an example. Like, imagine you're organizing a big community picnic and you want to invite everyone in your neighborhood. You got the names and addresses from your, old neighborhood directory to send out invitations. Or you don't check if people still live there or the addresses are correct. So on the day of the picnic, you find that many people didn't show up because the invitations were sent to outdated addresses, which led to confusion, right? Other mistake as far as list building, as I told you before, is not validating the actual emails, the email addresses of your prospects. Even though your list building tool, like for example, if you're using Apollo, they claim to verify all email addresses as 100% verified. That's just not true. Like, it's not the case. They're not always accurate. Basically, 40 to 60% of emails they scrape from Apollo are unverified and are invalid, right? So you want to clean, like, imagine if you sent a campaign with those leads, you didn't verify the emails, and you ended up with a 40% bounce rate. Like, your sending infrastructure is completely burned, it's completely damaged. You had to replace it completely because of the high bounce rate. Now, what you want to do is you want to use a tool like mailverifier.com to validate the email of your prospects before you add the lead list to your campaign, your cold email setting software. If you fail to validate these emails, if you don't do this, then you might just end up contacting valid email addresses. And so if you do this, like, your bounce rate is just going to increase a lot, and a high bounce rate above 1% can seriously damage your sending infrastructure. And it basically just signals to providers like Google and Microsoft that there's an unusual activity coming from your account, like sending emails to mailboxes that just don't exist, right? That's not normal. So you're going to get flagged, and that's why you don't want to do this. Like, you want to keep the bounce rate below 1%. All right, so the next mistake I see many people make is related to copy. Even if you've done everything right up until this point, but you make these copy mistakes, then you're just not going to get results. Most people make these 4 mistakes. The first one is the length of your emails, right? So whenever I do audits of companies, cold email campaigns, I see all of their emails are like just way too long, like longer than 100 words, 200 words long. So obviously nobody wants to read a wall of text. So I recommend to keep your emails shorter than 75 words. That's what I've seen works the best. The second mistake is your emails are just too focused on yourself and not enough on the prospect, not enough on the recipient. You're just spending too much space in the email. You're spending too much time talking about your awards, what you've won, who you are, what you can do, what your company does, your company. Like, nobody cares. They care about their problems. So instead, you should spend time, you should spend space in your cold email, which is limited because, as I said, you want to keep your emails pretty short. You want to spend that space and use the space to talk about your prospects' problems and pain points, and then how you can solve them. Mistake number 3 is that your emails sound like ads. So while cold email can be seen as an advertising channel, you don't want your cold email scripts to sound like a Facebook ad, because that style of copy just doesn't work with outbound marketing. And so often this mistake occurs when you're sending emails and when you're writing your cold email scripts like this guy. Like you are writing them as if you were writing them to an audience of 2,000 prospects, right? And so whenever you do this mistake typically occurs. Instead, what you should do is you should write emails as if you were emailing each prospect individually. You want to keep a casual and conversational tone. And after you've done the last 5 to 10 times, you see a pattern in the email you're writing. And you can basically do an average of the 5 to 10 emails, individual emails that you wrote, and that's going to be your cold email script for the campaign. The next super common mistake as far as copy is no clear call to action, right? So I've seen many cold emails that just lead nowhere because they don't have a call to action at the end of them. So if you're not using a call to action, then you just can't expect the prospect to give you something in return. Another very common mistake is a lack of split testing. Basically, as far as split testing, which is basically a method where you compare two versions of a cold email, whether it's the offer, the script, the targeting, the lead list, and then you determine which one is the winner, and then you scale the winner and you cut the loser. That is the process of split testing. There are two main mistakes within this process. One, you're just not doing it at all. And the second mistake that other people do is some people do split testing but focus on the wrong elements, such as subject lines or slight variations of email copy. So those are the main things that you should split test. In order of importance, actually the first one is offers. You might split test like two different benefits. For example, higher return on ad spend or more revenue. Those are two different benefits that you might want to split test. One might work better with an audience, one might work better with another audience. But basically what you want to do whenever you're running split tests is you want to keep all the variables the same except for the one that you're split testing, right? So for example, you're split testing the offer. You want to keep the targeting, the lead list, the scripts, pretty similar. Of course, not the same, but targeting, the lead list, everything else should be the same except for the variable that you're split testing, in this case, the offers. The next mistake is volume. And when I say volume, I mean not enough volume, right? So too many times when auditing someone's cold email campaigns, I see that they've only sent a few hundred emails and they complain saying that cold email doesn't work. The case here is that you just haven't sent enough of those cold emails. To basically split test variants, what I recommend sending at least 1,000 emails per variant that you want to split test. Here's how many emails you should send for each type of test. If you're testing different email text like copy, send between 500 and 1,000 for each variant. If you're testing different audiences, you might want to send between 2,000 and 5,000 emails per audience. If you're testing different offers, you might want to test each offer with 2,000 at least. The more emails you send, the better. Obviously, you want to cap it like 10,000 because more than 10,000 is just a waste of leads. But those are pretty much the amount of volume that you want to send. All right, so now you can take a look at your full cold email strategy and fix all the mistakes I pointed out in this video and finally be on your way to book meetings and sign clients from cold email, right? Not really, because cold email is a full-time job by itself. And as a business owner, you probably have something else that's more valuable to do. So if you want us to book you 30 meetings with your clients in the next 90 days on a pay-per-show basis, completely down for you, then click the first link in the description below, go to my landing page, watch my case studies, watch my client interviews, and book a call with me. That being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.